Jamaica, and then to go out there and not really put our best foot forward is just super disappointing. But with that said, the team we played, our opponent was a really, really good basketball team. And we knew that coming into the game. We had a really good idea of what they were going to do, and they did it. And we didn't answer the call. So, it's basketball, and there's ups and downs, but just the fact that we blew this opportunity in front of so many people is just a real disappointment.
Chase, go ahead.
I gotta agree. I think we all came into this game very excited. The magnitude of just what this means for Jamaica and Jamaica basketball really, we didn't take that lightly. And I think what Coach said is, nobody could deny that. It's a blown opportunity. We have multiple times in the game where we could have took the lead from 5 points to 7 points to 10 points, but just mistakes on defense, transition defense, lack of communication, lack of a lot of things, just hurt us. And then in the end, you just kind of leave the game up for grabs for whoever kind of makes plays at the end, and they made some really big plays. But, I think, honestly, with that all being said, this is a lot for all of us. And I take a lot of myself because, I want to, we all came here to make this happen, and like Coach said, there's a lot that goes into this, but, I just got to give credit to the team and just, we're going to figure this out as a team. Everybody here wants to win so bad. We know what it means, and we're just continuing to do everything we can do to make that happen.
Questions from the audience?
Thank you. Darnell from London. There's obviously a saying, defense wins games. And I know you guys mentioned, both of you mentioned it, that there was a lack of comms. Obviously, the defense at times was lacking. Talk to me about the gameplay going into Sunday. What are there going to be any significant changes, or, how are we going to focus on defense going forward?
I think we just got to get back to who we are. We really, when we were in Puerto Rico, we had a real bunker mentality, like us against the world sort of thing. And, I mentioned this to everybody pregame, at halftime, and before the game. It just was, for whatever reason, we just had a weird vibe today that it never felt like us. And when I say that, I mean, we played with a togetherness that allows us to overcome some of those mistakes. And one of the things in Puerto Rico that was really good was that communication. And tonight, it wasn't there. And it was really hard to try to find how to push the right buttons. I'll tell you this, Joel Bailey came in off the bench and gave us a huge shot of energy, and from the defensive end and on the offensive end, and that lit a spark for us, but then it kind of went away. And so I don't know, I can't tell you why, but we need to get it figured out before the 5th ranked team in the world comes in.
Yeah, Coach. In the first half, we had 30 points in the paint compared to 12 for Bahamas, and then that shifted to them ending with 44 overall and us 42. I know you mentioned communication. Was it more so on Bahamas' shift on strategy because they went a little bit cold from 3, or was it more down to us that we started to give up those points?
Well, we made a little bit of an adjustment and started switching the big to little screen with number 17, and they made us pay for that like 3 or 4 straight times down the floor. And then we readjusted, and I felt we were kind of okay after that. But at the end of the day, again, it just goes back to that we just didn't communicate. And one of our assistant coaches, mentioned the fact that we didn't play basketball. It was just simple. They weren't doing anything crazy. They were just executing. and we weren't doing anything to deny that execution.
Hi, this is a question for the player. Taz from KMG. So, how will you and your teammates plan to recoup to be prepared for the game on Sunday?
We just have to regroup. Film is a powerful tool. Watching the game over, seeing where we went wrong, as Coach said, on defense, with our energy, with things that we can control. And we just got to take it upon ourselves and not point fingers and point the finger back at ourselves and take accountability and just be better. I mean, there's no other thing. We came here to win. We all left wherever we was at to come here, and we just got to figure out how to do it. So.
No doubt about it. But we've put ourselves in a great position. Again, Chase has played basketball for a long time. I've coached basketball for a long time. We've lost games before. It's just, for me, I just didn't, like you said, I wanted to connect with the people. I didn't want their first taste to be bitter. And I hope it wasn't. I hope they had a good time. The game was an entertaining game. So I hope they come out on Sunday and let us try to prove ourselves again. And just believe that it can happen, and it will.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Right. All in all, I really think the side did not play in terms of to their best. Yeah, I didn't think they played to their best. Yeah, in the last 5 minutes of the game, we really, really, really gave away that game in the last 5 minutes of the game. Jamaica really, really, really gave away the game in the last 5 minutes. Honestly, we really did. And it's a game that we should have won. It's really a game that Jamaica should have won. And that being said, we go again on Sunday. That's tomorrow. We go again versus Canada, which is number 5 in the world. But, they are without some of their strengths, because one of the things I also found interesting is that, the NBA does not do like international breaks. So, how in football, we are used to having international breaks so that players can go and represent their countries. That doesn't happen for FIBA. So it creates an interesting or non-interesting type of thing, because, like in the qualifiers the other day, the USA lost their game. And we know that the USA is probably one of the strongest teams in the world. But like without those who are playing in the NBA, it's probably some persons playing in Europe or something that is currently representing them. But all in all, it was a great game. It was great energy. The turnout was great. And I can't wait to be a part of the crowd tomorrow. I mean, to be a part of this historic feat in the National Indoor Sports Center, trust me, was nothing short of amazing. I mean, I've heard crowds. I've been to the National Stadium. I've been to multiple sporting events. But let me tell you, those who came out to watch basketball on Thursday, there is a place for basketball in this country. Might not be one of the top sports, but all those players who play locally, the children who play basketball locally, some of those stars. I saw
Manchester, I saw Campion College, I saw Arden, I saw so many school children coming out to watch basketball on a Thursday evening, and it was just pretty much fantastic. So just to give you, the game ended Jamaica 96, Bahamas 92. Now, Jamaica scored 28 to 26 points in the first quarter. In the second quarter, it was 27 all. In the third quarter, Jamaica outscored Bahamas 26-24. But in the fourth and final quarter, where it really, really mattered, but the Bahamas outscored Jamaica 22 to 15. Yeah, the top scorers for Jamaica was, you heard from him earlier, Chase. Chase scored 27 points, and the second scorer, our highest scorer, was Kofi Cockburn. And if you know, Kofi is one of the local players who would have transitioned to be playing for Jamaica. You know, some of the players, they represent Jamaica through heritage. You know, Kofi is Jamaican born, and to see him, first of all, to see him in person is a whole different experience, because he's so tall. I literally felt like a midget beside Kofi. Seriously, because he's so tall. But all right, let's go to the Bahamas now. Their top scorer was Franco Miller. Franco ended that game with 32 points. So we go again on Sunday, as I said, tomorrow at the National Indoor Sports Center. Come out and give the basketballers your support. They just need one win or one more win to qualify for the next round of the World Cup. So we're looking forward to seeing the support. And trust me, when I tell you the Bob Marley Foundation, there's who sponsors the basketball team, the support was really, really tremendous. Just everything, you know, it was all a whole experience. It's almost like, I mean, I've never been to an NBA game, but you know, you see sometimes, you know, when you're watching it, what happens in the background, and you kind of see like the entertainment and all those things. So to see all of that like in live and living color was just a great experience. And I'm definitely looking forward to Jamaica's next match, which is tomorrow against Canada. So it's 6:00 at the National Indoor Sports Center, and I'm really looking forward to seeing. So if you are interested in basketball, tomorrow at 6:00, National Indoor Sports Center is the place to be. All right, we're gonna go for our first break right here on Sportstalk, and when we come back, we'll, go into some football. We have some track and field to talk about. We do have some football to talk about too, but, and many others. So I'll be right back, or we'll be right back right here on Sports Talk on the family station, Love 101 FM.
Yes, what me do? What you do? Me go check me prostate.
No, seriously.
Me nah do that. Remember say that pops drop out from, me have to take it serious. You can just do the blood test, but better safe than sorry. So me do the full package. Plus, the NHF card help pay for the PSA test. Biggs, you're 40, the earlier, the better. Cause me know you still want fire on all cylinder.
That is it. NHF is here for health. NHF is here for you.
Your taxes hold the key.
It's tax time. There are now 2 due dates for filing final income tax returns. All personal income tax returns for self-employed persons, individuals, partners, and partnerships must be filed and paid by March 16. For businesses, corporate income tax return is now due April 15. All estimated tax return filings and quarterly payments remain due on the 15th of March, June, September, and December. For details, visit jamaicatax.gov.jm or call 888-TAX-HELP. Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Monday, March 2 on Family Time, we're diving into one of the hardest conversations in Christian marriage, handling infidelity as a Christian spouse. Host Amanda James sits down with Pastor Christopher Broadber to unpack the questions so many are afraid to ask. infidelity doesn't only happen out there, but it happens in Christian homes, in ministry families, even in marriages that once looked unshakable. So, if a Christian spouse cheats, what do you do? Do you forgive? Do you stay? Do you leave? And how do you heal when trust feels shattered? Join the conversation Monday, March 2 at 5:30 p.m. on Family Time, here on the Family Station, Love 101. Tuesday, March 3 on The Rock, we're taking on a topic many Christians whisper about but rarely discuss openly: birth control. Join guests Christina Milford and Bishop Carl Wisdom as they explore a question believers have wrestled with for generations. What does the Bible really say about birth control? Does be fruitful and multiply mean every married Christian must have as many children as possible? What about health concerns, financial realities, calling, timing? And how do scripture and wisdom meet when family planning becomes a prayerful discussion? Plus, don't miss our feature, Peace of My Mind. All this and more on The Rock, Tuesday, March 3 at 10 a.m. right here on the Family Station, Love 101.
All right, welcome back to Sportstalk right here on the Family Station, Love 101 FM. I am your host, Kathya Davis. Thanks to those who have joined in on our app, Love 101 FM Jamaica, and that's in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store. All right, so on to football we go. Let's talk about what's going on in the English Premier League, because things are heating up. People are dropping points. Yeah, it's all happening, and this is why I love this time of the season for football, because it's just so unpredictable. All right, so let's see what has happened this morning, and then I'll give you some updates as it relates to where the table is and who is tabling and who is not tabling. All right, so this morning, or the round of 28 started yesterday with Aston Villa going down 2-0 to Wolves. Since morning, Bournemouth and Sunderland, they played to a 1-1 draw. Brentford defeated Burnley 4-3. Everton, they defeated Newcastle 3-2. Liverpool, they were 5-2 winners over West Ham. And it's currently halftime between Manchester City and Leeds. And Manchester City, they are leading that game 1-0. Tomorrow's game will see Manchester United taking on Crystal Palace, Fulham taking on Tottenham, Brighton playing Nottingham Forest, and Arsenal playing Chelsea. All right, so let's kind of break it down now with the standings and what does that mean. All right, so Arsenal, they still are on top of the standings with 61 points. And if Manchester City, if the score stays as it is, Manchester City versus Leeds, mean Manchester City, they would win that game today. Then they would be 2 points adrift from Arsenal. In third place is Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa, they would have dropped points yesterday against Wolves. And so if Manchester United wins tomorrow, it gives them an opportunity to go into third place. Liverpool now have found themselves into fifth place with 48 points, and Chelsea is now in sixth place on 45 points. A win against Arsenal tomorrow will see them going in back into fifth place. Back into fifth place, and if Manchester United loses tomorrow, and Chelsea wins, it could see Chelsea going back into fourth place tomorrow, or going into fourth place tomorrow. So a lot of tuggling still happening in the table, but I'm sure the game everybody will be interested in tomorrow will be that London derby between Arsenal and Chelsea. And if you know anything about Chelsea and what happens in the English Premier League is that, at some point, this Chelsea has the opportunity to dictate sometimes who wins the English Premier League. And I'm sure if Chelsea beats Arsenal tomorrow, that would be a real dagger to Arsenal's going in terms of for the title. And especially now they would only be, or they are currently only 2 points ahead of Manchester City. And if they lose tomorrow, they will stay 2 points ahead of Manchester City, but Manchester City still has a game in hand. So it's a lot of things happening there in the English Premier League. All right, let's see what's still going on in terms of those who are trying to stay up in the English Premier League. West Ham, they're currently in 18th place on 25 points, and they're now 2 points adrift from safety. So they are just below Nottingham Forest, who are in 17th place on 27 points. Burnley, they're in 19th place on 19 points. And Wolves, I tell you about those teams that are trying to stay into things or don't have anything to play for. Because Wolves defeated Aston Villa yesterday. The Wolves, they're currently only 2 wins from the season so far. But if you listen to me, last week I spoke about these teams that are in relegation, know that they're possibly going to be relegated. There's no chance of them staying up. They are gonna play. Those players are gonna play their best football because they want a team that is staying up to be attractive to that team so that they can at least transfer to that team. That's one. And two, they really have nothing to lose at this point. They already know they're going to be playing in the championship next year. And so it's really all or nothing for them. So they just go all out. And that is the danger of a team, of playing a team in relegation, a team that's not really playing for anything, that know them don't have no top flight football next year. They just come and they just play. Those are the teams that are dangerous in terms of having other players injured as well, because they will pick up the red cards here and there because it really, really doesn't matter to them at this point in the season because they know, again, that they won't be staying up. So it will be interesting to see in terms of what the rest of the league time will look like. I mean, we do have a little way to go, and not much, but a little way to go in terms of the English Premier League, and we will be keeping you posted because we are now at round 28 and I think 38, so that the Premier League closes off on May 5. So we still have a little way to go. February is still early time. It's still a lot of time for things to happen, but I think the ultimate question is Manchester City able to push and get back and get a number 5 title, or will Arsenal cave again? Will Arsenal cave again? And boy, yeah, it's you want to stay posted for that because it's gonna be quite interesting. It's gonna be so interesting coming up for the next few weeks. I mean, we have 3 months pretty much left, and that includes like the international breaks and all of that. So just a lot to really play for in terms of the English Premier League. All right, so let's now talk about what's going on in the Jamaica Premier League. Jamaica Premier League in terms of the games to come and where the point standings are in terms of Jamaica Premier League as well. Now, I would have said a lot of the games, I would have said last week that a few of the games would have been postponed last week because of members from the team gone on international duty. So whether they were playing for the national team or whether players are now representing the Jamaica under-20 team that is played in the CONCACAF under-20 CONCACAF Championship. And so we had a few games last week. Harborview played Montego Bay United, Dunby Holding played Treasure Beach, Racing played Chapelton, and Arnett Gardens, they played Police United. So let me just give you now the results from those games, and then we'll give you the games on tomorrow, and then I will give you the points standings. All right, so Mount Pleasant, they were 4-1 winners over Harborview. Treasure Beach, they played to a Treasure Beach and Cavalier, they played to a 1-1 draw. And then that was late down in the week, but in terms of early on in the week, Racing United, they were 2-0 winners over Chapelton Maroons, and Spanish Town Police, they were 2-1 winners over Arnett Gardens. Now, where does that leave the table? Again, on average, teams that have played, I say, between 23 games, I would say, just about that. So Montego Bay United, they've played 24 games so far. They're still on top of the table with 50 points. Racing United, they're in second, 24 games played as well with 45 points. Portmore United, they've played 23 games. And of course, their game last week was suspended because, of course, of representation in the national squad for their team, as well as their coach, Rudolph Austin. He is the head coach of the Jamaica under-20 squad, who is currently participating in the CONCACAF, and they would have had, I think, a few players in the under-20 squad as well. So, right. So they're currently in third place, having played 23 games on 42 points. And let's just do the top six. Mount Pleasant played 22 games so far. They're on 41 points. Chapelton Maroons, 24 games so far. They're on 32 points. And Waterhouse, they're 23 games played so far on 31 points. In terms of the teams down in relegation, in the relegation zone, Spanish Town Police, having played 24 games, they're on 18 points. Harborview, having played 23 games, are on 20 points. And yeah, so it's still close going down there, because just above them is Treasure Beach on 22 and Mullins United on 23, and it's a few games left for the season. So yeah, it's still close going in terms of who is where. All right. So let's talk about now the games coming up this weekend. So tomorrow, Chapelton Maroon, they will host Dunby Holding at Turner's Oval, and all the games tomorrow except one they kick off at 3:30. Racing United, they will play Cavalier at Freddie Nita Park at 3:30. Treasure Beach, they will play Tivoli Gardens at Stets at 3:30. Montego Bay United, they will host Arnett Gardens as their current home base at Jarrett Park. And Mount Pleasant, they will play Portmore United at Draxall, but that is a 7 p.m. kickoff. And then the Monday Night Football will be at the Waterhouse Mini Stadium. The first game will see Malines playing Harborview at 5, and then the 7 o'clock kickoff in the Monday night. The second game in the Monday night kickoff will see Waterhouse taking on Spanish Town Police, and that goes off at 7:30. So that's the update as it relates to the Jamaica Premier League. Again, with representation for the national squad and under 20, we have just a little bit of catching up to do in terms of some of the games. But I'm sure the JFF competitions and the PFJL, they will get those games back online shortly, or to ensure that everybody has played the same amount of games coming up to the end of the season. All right, this is where we take our second break. But when we come back, we still have to talk about the national team and the great happenings of the under 20 team going. They're currently in Curacao. So let's go to the break, and when we come back, we have more football for you. We'll be right back.
International presents Breaking Barriers Liberty Edition on Saturday, February 28th to 2026 at the Maple New Testament Church, 57 Manchester Avenue, Clarendon, featuring Gotti Gotti, Sister Pat, John Mark Wiccan, Orpheus Sutherland, and more. Tickets $2,500 pre-sold, $3,500 at the gate. Children under 13 $1,000. Ticket outlets: Tate's Pharmacy, Maypen, Gibson Petroleum on Manchester Avenue, Morris Fish Hut at Clarendon Park. MCs Dexter Johnson and yours truly, The Essence, sponsored by The Gospel International, Mick Wade, Garden Gold Cosmetics, Morris Fish and a Jerk Hut, Good Line Pharmacy, Gibson Petroleum. That's Saturday, February 28, 2026. Breaking Barriers Liberty Edition. Be there.
Every blessing me have you get.
Me know you're not gonna fail.
Hope Gospel Assembly, in association with the Blessing and Deliverance Ministries and the Associated Gospel Assemblies, present Jesus for Jamaica. Jamaica for Jesus. The March of Righteousness and Renewal Rally. Sunday, March 1. The march begins at 3:30 p.m. from Sovereign Center to Jamaica College for the mass rally beginning at 5 p.m. The speaker, Bishop Dr. Rowan Edwards. Come ready to march. Come ready to pray. Come ready to praise.
Songs of Zion, singing on the mountain.
Every Monday at 11 a.m. on the family station Love 101, we'll bring you Songs of Zion. Yep, listen in as we'll share with you songs, stories, testimonies from Dr. Kathya Davis, and more. You're sure to be blessed. You're sure to be encouraged. Songs of healing, songs of encouragement, songs that will keep you through the week. Songs of Zion with Dr. Kathya Davis and more. This hour is brought to you by Glory Music. Every Monday at 11 a.m. inside the Morning Express with me, Nadine Blair. Songs of Zion, Mondays at 11 a.m. on the family station Love 101.
Just shall wipe away all tears from mine eyes.
I wish I could have talked to somebody about my problems, but I don't know if I'm ready for everybody knows me.
Why not text in a problem and hear what the suggestions are? We have a safe space for you to share your truth and get the help you need.
Really? Where?
On Soul Talk, confessions and reflections in Alive, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Submit your detailed message to 876-424-3642 or send an email to producer@love101.org and state if you prefer to remain anonymous. Choose from our categories: confession of regret, confession of gratitude, confession of weakness, confession of love, or confession of conflict. By sharing your story, you'll not only find freedom, but also receive guidance, advice, and solutions from our community of listeners who care.
Join the journey to healing, forgiveness, and breakthrough. Soul Talk, confessions and reflections, because sometimes the hardest truth leads to the greatest breakthrough. Only on the family station, Love 101.
Now, Wednesdays at 3 p.m.
Welcome back to Sportstalk right here on the family station, Love 101 FM. And our teams, national teams, have been in action. Both the Reggae Boys, meaning senior Reggae Boys or local base squad, and of course our under 20 Reggae Boys, they've also been in action as well in the CONCACAF under 20 championship. Before we go to the under 20 championship, we're gonna hear from Coach Rudolph Speed, and this is after Jamaica they were able to secure a 2-0 victory over Martinique. Of course, goal scorers in that game were Nikhil Ellis, assisted by Kyle Ming, and Daniel Green, assisted by Nikhil Ellis. Now, the debutants for Jamaica in that game was Raheem Edwards, Daniel Russell, Dwayne Allen, Teje Grant, Jaheim Thomas, and Rashiki Kelson. And let's hear now from Coach Rudolph Speed and the captain of the day, Kyle Ming, in that post-match press briefing. Yeah, we'll hear from them shortly. So, right, we'll hear from Coach, as I said, Coach Rudolph Speed and Kyle Ming. This is the post press conference or post match statements after the 2-0 victory over Martinique.
Hi, coach. On commence avec le capitaine. Okay.
Okay, everybody, thank you very much for being here for the post-match press conference. Martinique against Jamaica. We're joined the head coach of Jamaica, Mr. Rudolph Speed, and captain of Jamaica, Mr. Kyle Ming. We'll now open the floor for questions from members of the media. I will translate. If you have any questions in French, or please, questions in English first, to either coach or player. Thank you.
Captain, what will you keep or remember about this game here in Martinique?
Well, Martinique gave it their all, but at the end of the day, we played a better ball game and we came victorious. But we just have to go back to the drawing board and do our job.
I understood it was important for you to prepare for the playoff next month in Mexico.
Yes, definitely.
What was important during this match for you?
What was it, to execute what the coach taught us. Yeah.
So in the final, it's a good game. What will you keep?
Pardon?
What will you keep of this game? Did you see what you'd like to discover with the other team, waiting for the other professional of your national team, playing in Europe or?
Do you think is there anything we can work on or improve on moving forward?
Well, going forward, I think we need to move better on the ball and communicate better, so we can get better angles to play out and execute the tactics that the coach wants.
Thank you so much.
Questions for Coach?
Yes, Coach. Coach, I know you prepared your game as an important one because next month you have as a player, but next to a final for us, for you, what will you keep about this game here today?
Right, so this game was really to help to shape some type of pattern standard that we wanted to play. We also, this team is purely local based players, so as you know, we have players from overseas. So we wanted to establish the players that we can depend on in the playoff if we need to call on them. I think we did that.
And the result of the game, you'd like to win, it's important, but for you as a coach, as a manager, are you satisfied of the production of your guys?
Oh yes, I thought the players was in control for most of the games. They moved the ball well, they didn't have to rush their plays. I just thought that the players acclimatized well, and a few players really started out first today.
Some words about your opponent.
Oh yeah, Martinique, I thought they started sprightly, very well initially. But I think as soon as we scored, they had to dig a little deep. And I thought they put up a really good fight until we scored the second goal. And I suppose we were just in cruise control. The game would have dropped this quality somewhat when they started to make changes and ourselves. So that's what happened near the end of the game. But I thought Martinique played extremely well for a team that doesn't have the international experience that we have. I think they did well.
Nouvelle-Calédonie, the next opponent for you. How will you prepare this game?
Oh, definitely. New Caledonia is a little bit different. Although they are French colony, just like Martinique, that is one of the reasons why we put the game. We figured there will be some similarities. So, of course, they are a little different. So we'll have to go back and look at what we did well here today, and what we could improve, and look at New Caledonia just to see how we can possibly defeat them and go on to the final.
Do you realize that Jamaica is a partner of all Caribbean who would like to see you in the World Cup?
I know. I mean, we are one Caribbean. That's how I see it. I'm a Caribbean man first and foremost. So if Martinique had the same opportunity, I'd be cheering for you guys just to see.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well,
thanks, Coach.
Is that all the questions?
All right, so that's Rudolph Speed interim coach of the Reggae Boys, you heard there. And of course, earlier, you would have heard from Kyle Ming, the captain of West Jamaica. They were 2-0 winners over Martinique. Unfortunately, the game was not, what do we call it, streamed. So we didn't really get to see the game. But I suspect from what Coach Speed would have said in his post-match interview, they had certain tactics or certain things working on. Not everything was executed as he expected it to. But again, this is the local base squad. And so we're hoping that, he's trying to form some sort of way how he wants the team to play. And hopefully, everybody will fit themselves into that system. All right, great. So I don't think we have any more games before we head to Guadalajara, Mexico. Of course, we know if you've been in the news, you've seen that some sort of turmoil happening in Guadalajara, Mexico. FIFA says the games will go on, but we'll see if it is that there be any changes come closer to the time. All right, so that was for the senior Reggae Boys. Now for our under 20 Reggae Boys, who they have really been doing a very good job. I think 3 or 4 of the players from the under 17 team that would have qualified for the World Cup, they were able to go on to Curacao to play now for the under 20 squad. And in the first game, Jamaica, they were able to defeat Bonaire by 3-0. Goals coming from Sean Layton in the 24th minute, Deshaun Talbert in the 43rd minute, and Raekwon Campbell-Dennis in the 71st minute. So that was the first game for the under 20 Reggae Boys. And then in their second game, they would have played Turks and Caicos Islands. They came out 7-0 winners in that game. Raekwon again on the score sheet. He scored in the 10th and the 13th minute. Then Jamari Nolan scored in the 19th minute. Jabari Howell scored in the 30th minute. Giovanni Taylor scored in the 61st minute. Orel Miller scoring in the 87th minute, and Giovanni Taylor getting his second in the 87th minute. So again, the first game, Jamaica defeated Bonaire 3-0. Second game, they defeated Turks and Caicos 7-0. And in their third game, so far, they would have defeated just last night. They would have defeated the Cayman Islands by 9-0. Again, I'll go through the goal scorers. O'Dane Wilberforce, he scored in the 19th minute. Giovanni Taylor scored in the 26th and the 33rd minute. Orel Miller scored in the 52nd minute. Claver Nugent, he scored in the 71st minute. Jamari Nolan scored in the 78th, 90th, and 90 plus 3 minutes. And Jabari Howell scored in the 88th minute. Of course, the team has a few more games to go in their group. I do know they are to play Puerto Rico, right? Yes, they are to play Puerto Rico, which I think is the next game for them. So the Jamaica Under-20 squad will play Puerto Rico. Of course, currently, as it stands in the table, they are leading on goal difference, having a +10 goal difference better than Puerto Rico currently. So that game should be interesting. A top of the table clash for the Jamaica Under-20 squad. Again, they are in... This is the Under-20 championship. They are looking to finish on top of their group so they can head to the final group playoffs or the final playoffs to get to the Under-20 World Cup taking place in 2027. So they're doing the championship now, and then once it is that if they've progressed past the championship, they will get to the next stage, which happens next set of games will happen which will come up rather in August. And then once they finish on top of their group, they will head to the Under-20 World Cup in 2027. With that, we'll take our final break right here on Sports Talk. We will be right back.
All right. We're going to do a roll call.
The Love Jockey is on duty every Saturday inside Youth Connection. Don't miss the hype. Don't miss the tunes. Don't miss the excitement with your boy, DJ Rebirth. Saturdays at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the family station, Love 101. At 3 p.m., your DJ runs the gospel rhythm. Hot, hot. Tune in at 4 p.m. for a time where we share a word to grow your mind. GYM, grow your mind. Jim, get it? Grow your mind. And at 4:30 p.m., we share with you how young people are giving all their time and fulfilling their purpose inside Ministry in Action. We get a taste of poetry and spoken word inside Poetry and Praise. And you get to send us a WhatsApp message and request your favorite gospel song inside Gospel Faves at 5. All this and more every Saturday at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. with your love jock, your boy, DJ Rebirth. It's all here on the family station. Love 101.
Youth Connection. Shubopti and them figured him provide everything on vibe before we chat. Shubopti and them figured him alone make we appear when we did chat. Hey, hey.
Every Saturday, 7 p.m. to midnight on Love 101. You're invited to travel in time with music at its best. It's the Gospel Music Machine with the Gospel Music Master, Nigel Wilkinson. From your favorite choir music to Christian contemporary, a touch of reggae and the Caribbean feel.
Gospel Music Machine with Nigel Wilkinson.
Nigel play the tune. Yep, the Gospel Music Master is still playing the tunes down alone. And he's definitely your music master. Saturdays, 7 p.m. to midnight. You won't regret the link. It's on the family station, Love 101.
That is all I need.
All right, welcome back to Sports Talk right here on the family station, Love 101 FM. This is our final segment in the show today. Oh my God, the time went by so fast. All right, so we were just talking about football, in football as well, just to close out football for today. Jamaica's Reggae Girls, they will be playing Nicaragua, and this is in... Well, right. So they will play Nicaragua on March 2. The team is currently in Nicaragua. And so we wish them all the best and we'll be able to give you a breakdown of the game come next week. All right. Moving right along to cricket, lovely cricket and what's happening over there in Pakistan and Sri Lanka. I can tell you that South Africa out of our group and New Zealand and England have made it to the T20 semifinals, which means there's only place left for one team. There's only one spot. There's only one place left for one other team to qualify. One place left in the semifinal, and that comes down to India versus the West Indies. That game that will kick off tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Jamaica time. And yeah, let's just say would I be disappointed in the West Indies? They do not make it to the semifinals? I surely will be disappointed. And I'll tell you why. I think I mentioned it in the show last week, but I do think it's very unfair that teams are pre-ranked coming into the World Cup. And so now you have two second-place teams making it to the semifinals of the World Cup. That don't make any sense to me. Other group winners should have never ended up in the same group. And this is not me complaining. This is just like facts of life. Like ICC, they really need to review how it is that this pre-tournament listing goes, because it didn't matter what West Indies did, which is true. We finished on top of our group and still kind of ended up in the group of death. Why? Because teams had pre-ranked or pre-seeded things. So England was going to end up in that group no matter or whether they finish first or second. Same for West Indies. We were destined to end up in that group. So I did not really like it. I didn't really like it that this has happened. However, that being said, I'm really hoping that we're able to put up a great performance against India and shock ourselves out of what happened against South Africa. But it's always this West Indies team, they either blow real hot or real cold. Tomorrow, I'm really hoping that the team blows real hot, because I think they have played very good cricket so far. In the 3 of the 4 games that they would have played so far, they have played, or 4 of the 5 games, they have played very good cricket. And I think getting to the semi-finals and, getting to play, I suspect if they get to the semi-finals, they will play England again. And I want to rematch England because I think we can beat England again. So yeah, we're hoping for that. So it's simplest day for the West Indies, beat India and they are through to the semi-finals. And it's also simple for India to beat West Indies, which you do not want. But if India, they beat West Indies, they will get through to the semi-finals. Now, in the case that we have a rained out game, meaning the game ends in a no result, it means that both teams would end up with 1 point and West Indies will qualify for the semifinals, because we currently have a superior net run rate than India. So yeah. So that's really what's going on in the T20 World Cup. Before I came here, there was a very, very interesting game against with Sri Lanka and Pakistan. Both teams are currently out of the T20 World Cup, by the way. Sri Lanka, Pakistan, they made 200. They made over 200 in their batting first. I still think they could have made some more runs. I don't know. Pakistan looked as if they wanted to win today, and then they just kind of like they changed their mind. Somewhere in the game today, they changed their mind, and so they needed to restrict Sri Lanka to 147 runs. Sri Lanka came 5 runs short of scoring over 200 runs. Well, no, they scored over 200 runs, but 500 short of the run chase. And so Sri Lanka, they ended up their group stage without a win. Pakistan, they ended on the same points as New Zealand, but New Zealand had a better run rate, and so New Zealand went through to the semi-finals. Yes, somebody says they're praying for the West Indies to win. So am I. I am praying that the West Indies win, and I'm really, really hoping that they win, right? Hoping that there's no pressure, that they just go out there tomorrow, play the best cricket, and that they will come out victorious. But yeah, that's what's going on in the World T20 World Cup. I suspect by the time we speak again next week, we will be almost in the finals. Yeah. Oh, right. Just about there. All right. So that's what's going on in the world of cricket. The West Indies women, they're currently playing Sri Lanka, I believe. And they're down in that series, in that T20 series. I think they're down in that series. So I think they were able to pull back. So I think the series is now at 2-1 with West Indies versus Sri Lanka. And that's the women. All right. So onto some track and field, as Karim would have said earlier. Today is the Gibson McCook relays. And of course, the biggest relay carnival in the Caribbean happening at the National Stadium. Kicks off at 4 p.m. So for those who be like, I don't see Gibsons yet, and 4 o'clock the meet start. 4 o'clock. There have been changes that, to change to make the meet almost like a straight finals, which it will be. So the meet will kick off today at the National Stadium at 4 o'clock. If you haven't got your ticket, it's still not late. It's not it's not too late to get down to the National Stadium later. It's in the afternoon. The sun will be down, so you can come and see some of the high school stars. I know the 60 meters women and men will be on as well. There'll be prep and primary school relays as well. I think there's also masters races as well. So it should be a great afternoon into evening meet. Talking about great meet, last week, Saturday, we were giving you the up-to-date point standings, but we can definitely tell you that Kingston College and Immaculate, they became winners at the corporate area championships, right? And then later in the week, we had the Central Championship, which I know Edwin Allen won on the girls' side and St. Jago won on the boys' side. And then for the Western Championship, I'm trying to ensure that I get all the results. I do believe that Stets won on one of the sides. I'm trying to remember who won on the boys' side. But yeah, so this is really that championship, and of course we will have the national of the corporate area winners, the central winners, and the western winners. That meet will culminate just before champs. Of course, next weekend is the Carifta Trials will be on. The Carifta Games will be hosted in the Spice Island this year of Grenada. So the team will travel there. And of course, Carifta Games comes up the weekend after champs. And so it's still a concern for me that the Carifta Games and champs are close, especially if the team has to travel to another Caribbean country, which we oftentimes do. But Grenada is not a straight flight. I think they have to go to Trinidad first, and then I think there's another stop, and then before they get to Grenada. So let's see in terms of how the athletes will recuperate. That's always a concern for me. It's not just Jamaican athletes though, because we do have like Karel Etienne from Trinidad and Tobago, and I know we have Emile Higgins. So there are a few Caribbean athletes who are currently running for schools in Jamaica and will participate in champs. So they will, I guess, be at the same disadvantage as we are going into the Carifta game. So again, the Gibson McCook relays, they're on today at the National Stadium at 4:00, and we look to see. Just a reminder that basketball is on tomorrow again at the National Stadium, where we will play Canada. I was just seeing that the VIP and center court tickets, courtside tickets have been sold out. But there's still chance to get the limited amount of general tickets out there. So if you want to see the basketball, which I say come and see basketball, we don't know when is the next time basketball will return to Jamaica at this level. So it's good to just come out and be a part of that. And of course, the West Indies, they'll be in action tomorrow against India. Of course, both teams going up to play so that they are able to qualify. Whoever is the winner tomorrow will qualify for the semifinals of the ICC World Cup. That's all the time we have in Sports Talk today. Thank you so much. Thank you those who have joined me on Facebook and on YouTube on Love 101 FM Jamaica. And of course, if you're listening on the Love 101 FM app in the App Store or in the Google Play Store, good afternoon to you. And those who are tuned in on your radios on 101.1, 357, and 9, good afternoon to you. This has been Sports Talk. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Monday, March 2 on Family Time, we're diving into one